feeling this afternoon? All right, look, we're gonna do a little something different because I'm really feeling what Jason's feeling, that we need to bring this energy, we really need to bring the funk. Is that all right? Okay, I'm not really believing you. Is that all right? All right, so I've been watching these videos. Besides being obsessed with LinkedIn, I'm obsessed with YouTube, and I'm really obsessed with this thing called the Harlem Shake. Who's down to do the Harlem Shake? Wait. Who's down to do the Harlem Shake? I'm not getting buy-in by the front of the crowd, but it's okay, because you guys have to do the Harlem Shake, because that's how we're gonna get this one started, all right? So I'm gonna need a couple people to move to the front right now. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Just quick, in the back, I see you with the yellow lanyard. Come on all the way up. I'm gonna come down to get people. All right. I need you guys, everybody to come to the front. Some people come to the front. Who's not seen the Harlem Shake? Who's seen the Harlem Shake? All right, all the people who've seen the Harlem Shake, come to the front. Right now, let's go. Real quick, let's go. Crazy Irish. There you go. In the front, everybody's just sitting in chairs. Real quick. You've seen the Harlem Shake. Sit in the chairs. Everybody sit in the chairs. Okay, let's go. Real quick. I only have 30 minutes to keep your attention. I'm keeping everybody up. We're going crazy. You want to be in this. I know you do. Yeah, all right, you ready to go? Okay. Everybody's ready? Who's in the back? Who's not participating? Are you participating, sir? Yes. Come on, let's go. You ready? You're going to participate? Why are you looking at me like we're crazy? Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy? You guys been sitting down the entire time. Let's go to the front. There you go. Okay. All right. In the chairs, right over here, or whatever. Okay, good. All right. So everybody here has seen the Harlem Shake. All right, there's 15 seconds, I do believe, where I'm just going to be up here doing something really silly. Right? A big black guy, bow tie, velvet suit. That's what I'm talking about. Belt buckle. That's right. I'm gonna be just acting I'm gonna do a little thing here just for 15 seconds. Then when the music drops, what happens? We'll practice. All right, we're gonna practice. The music drops, go.
Oh, yes.
I like it. All right, sit down. All right, we're gonna try that one more time. The music's dropped. Now everybody in the back, you guys just saw that, right? All right, I'm gonna need you guys to participate. We are all creative individuals with big ideas, right? This is somebody else's creative idea, and we're gonna pay homage because they're not here right now, right? So you're cool with that? Yeah. Okay, good. So the music drops, and then you guys are gonna do what? Go!
Go crazy!
I like it. I'm feeling it. All right, about 5-10 rows back, you guys aren't doing anything, but I'm gonna expect when the music drops, sir in the red sweatshirt, there's a seat right here for you. Let's go. Ma'am, striped shirt, come on. Don't be afraid. This is the Midwest. It's okay. We're gonna bring the East and the West Coast right here to the Midwest, the best in the West. Okay, I went to the University of Michigan. We make things happen for you guys. Who said boo? What school did you go to? What are you talking about? When's the last time y'all did something? When's the last time? You know, I appreciate you guys allowing me to be here. Thank you so much. Kansas City, you've been so kind, but I did go to the greatest university in the world. There's a young lady here, Patience. Where's Patience? Yeah, go RC. That's right. For you guys that don't know, we're the weirdos that went to the University of Michigan. We lived in an isolated area called East Quad, but we have much love for one another. And there's only pass-fail. See how I got out? All right, so look. All right, so the music's gonna drop, and then you guys are gonna go crazy. But the beginning is just me. And you guys are gonna act like this is me. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, the music in the beginning, you guys know, it's just this. You guys are staring at this. Just don't mind me. Just act like you're just bored, okay? Trey, ready? Who said that? The pig. Don't be a pig. How dare you, sir? Okay, Trey, go. Oh, well, I tell you what. Oh, I was so excited, I busted a hole in my pants. How good do you guys feel right now? Woo! Loved every second of that. I always wanted to do that. Dang. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you. I wanted to give a big ups to Silicon Valley Prairie News for putting this on Kansas City. You know, bring it right here to Midwest. It's fantastic. And last night before I went to bed, I was thinking, I was like, why in the world did they invite me here today? It couldn't have been because just the Harlem Shake. And so I passed out. Like, sometimes what I do is like I'm thinking so hard that I just overload my mind and I just pass out. So I woke up this morning and had all my clothes on. How many times has that happened to all of you? A lot, right? Because you're working so hard, you're thinking so hard every day about new and innovative ideas and how to reinvent yourself, how to reinvent your business, how to really bring something special to the community, how to bring something inspiring, how to really change lives. And so I started thinking to myself, I said, why am I here? Have I done something like that? Have I done something profound as to stand on the stage where so many great people have stood before? I mean, Jamie, she's curating adventures around the world. You have Dan, who's connecting entrepreneurs from all around the world. And then you have, Scott Harrison, who's bringing water to the world. He's allowing people to live. And I was like, well, have I done anything like that? And then I was thinking, well, maybe it's because I went to Churchill High School. Well, maybe it's because I went to the greatest university in the world, the University of Michigan, established in 1817. We have more Fortune 500 CEOs and chairmen, and we have more founders than anywhere else in the entire world. Maybe it's because we have 500,000 alumni. I love my university, go blue. Or maybe it's because, no. Maybe it's because I went and I played in the National Football League. Maybe it's because I played for the Giants. Who likes the Giants? Oh, man. Tough crowd. Maybe it's because I played for the Eagles. Really tough crowd. Maybe it's because I played for the Cincinnati Bengals. I tried. Maybe it's because I traveled around the world and I went to 20 different countries and I played 20 different sports and I got beat up 400 different times. Maybe it's because I was working with the NFL Network before they started and helped them launch. Maybe it's because I did stuff with ESPN and had my own show. I don't know. Maybe it's because I did a show on the Big Ten Network called Live Big, and maybe it's because I did another show on VH1 with Big Morning Buzz Live. And then I was like, well, maybe it's because I did a show with Spike. And it dawned on me, it wasn't because of any of that. Last night I showed up at the party at that incredible Missouri bank, and Caleb came up and he gave me a badge. I don't like badges. We don't need no stinking badges. He gave me the badge, and I looked down at the badge and it said Dhani Jones, and it said BowTie Cause. And it hit me. So I'm not here because of the TV shows. I'm not here because of football. I'm not here because of my college. I'm not here because of my high school. I'm not here because of where I'm from. I'm here because I'm just like one of you. We're all creating amazing platforms for people to join together to do brilliant things together. We're all selfless. We're all committed, and we're all passionate about something that's greater than ourselves. And for me, it all boiled down to one day, one of my friends invited me down to Philadelphia, and this is when I was hurt on the Giants, and I saw him. And everybody's had this best friend from growing up, and he's my best friend. 350 pounds he was. And I go down to Philadelphia, and he's down at 120 pounds. He said, if you want to be somebody, you got to rock a bow tie. I'm like, I'm not wearing a bow tie. said, my neighborhood physics professor is wearing a bow tie. I don't want to be like him. Well, I mean, now everybody wants to be like him. Yogi Bear, Count Chocula, the Pringles guy. Even the guy, the Mucinex guy, he rocks a bow tie. No one wants to be like him. And he said, no, if you want to be somebody, you got to rock a bow tie. And when I looked at him and I asked him what was going on, he told me that he had cancer. He had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, stage 4. And I was like, well, I got to go put on a bow tie. That moment changed my entire life. It changed the entire trajectory of the things that I was allowed to do, the places that I was allowed to go, and the people that I was allowed to talk to. Because in that moment, it didn't become about me. It became about my cause. It became about my selfless mission to put bow ties on everybody, to make sure that everybody in the entire world rocked a bow tie. That was my mission. And so from that moment when I put on a bow tie, that was the moment that I started working with ESPN. That was the moment that I started working with NFL Network. That was the moment I started working with Channel 6. That was the moment when I had the opportunity to go around the world and travel to 20 different countries and play 20 different sports. And as I said before, get beat up 400 times. And I was doing that all at the same time. I was playing the game that I love, the game of football. Sure, it was tiring. Sure, there was many times when I fell asleep with all my clothes on. But it was worth it. I'm talking about being on the road for 50 days at a time, having one day off before going into training camp, going right through training camp, going right into the season, going into postseason, having 2 weeks off, going away for another month, having another 2 weeks off, going into full-length training, going away for another 50 days. Sure, I love to travel, but more than anything, I love to show people the bow tie. And so since that very day of working with Kunta and him telling me his story, we've been able to talk to so many people from around the globe, around the world, about what it means to rock a bow tie. But more importantly, what does it mean to have a conversation about things that you're passionate about? And what does it mean to create a movement? Because all of us here as entrepreneurs, we're all creating our own special movement. But we're doing this movement and creating this movement together because we realize we can't do it by ourselves. And BowTie Cause has grown. We've touched people's lives. We've changed the math. We've changed the conversation. We work with over 100 different organizations, and each time someone else puts on the bow tie, they know they can go out and they can talk to another person about why they're rocking the bow tie. But more importantly, they can go out there and show their story, share their story, and talk about what they're passionate about. And my challenge to all of you is, what's your story? What's your cause? What are you truly passionate about? What's your mission? What's your vision? And how can you collaborate with other people to make sure that it's amplified? Because there's nobody here that doesn't want to work with another person to be selfless in their message. Dan just talked about it. Be selfless and be committed. Be transformative and be passionate. Because in the end, what is it all worth if we can't all give it back? What does it mean if you leave your legacy and you haven't affected other people's lives? When I was thinking about what to talk about, I talked to Micah, and he was like, sure, one person sometimes can affect 1 million, but sometimes it's that one person that affects that one person that affects 1 million people. And that's okay. So it's not always that you have to be that person that sets a platform that aggregates 50 million people, but set that platform that sets the stage for that one person who eventually will cultivate relationships to affect 50 million people. Or set the platform that affects one person, that affects one other person, another person. Maybe it's generations later that affect 50 million people. We all have an aggregate responsibility to create an invaluable platform of selfless individuals that all represent a combined cause of clarity, focus, and giving. It's documented that entrepreneurs give more than anybody else. Why? Because we realize how tough it is. We've all slept on somebody's couch. Now, some couches might be a little bit more fancy than others. But we've all worked hard, and we've all fought to be where we are today. But more importantly, we all recognize and understand how important it is to give back. And that's what BowTie Cause is all about. This is what today is all about. So when you find that moment that it might be that much more difficult to move forward, just ask someone for some help. Because they all want you to be successful, and they all want you to affect others. I've been fortunate enough to work with some great people with BowTie Cause. And I've been fortunate to work with a lot of great people with all my other ventures. But when I think about how I was able to arrive at this point today, sure, VMG Creative, sure, Proclamation, sure, TV, but when it all boils down to it, it's this bow tie. That's the silver lining. That's part of my proverbial playbook. When I think about the game, when I think about the people in the stands, they see the bow tie. So I ask you, what's your bow tie? What's your cause? How hard are you willing to work in order to support those that are around you? How many tireless hours are you willing to put in to your cause, to your motivation? Collaborate with others, be selfless in your moments. Help others. Help others find their cause, to be selfless, so that you can be committed to creating platforms together as people that affect lives. That's our credo as entrepreneurs. That's what I realized why I'm here. So, thank you.
Want to take a couple questions?
Sure.
Awesome. That was great. That was amazing.
I like that. What? I'm still schwitzing from the Harlem Shake.
Yes, we brought it. We brought the energy.
That was awesome.
That's what we've been looking for. Does anyone have any questions for Dhani related to BowTie Cause or the Harlem Shake or anything in between? Don't be shy, or we'll make you dance again.
Can you tell us about some of the causes, and how do you get them into your network, and what does that look like? What does the process look like? How do we help them?
Yeah, well, we've worked with everybody from Leukemia Lymphoma Foundation to Right to Play to Scoliosis Foundation to Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation to the 9/11 Memorial. And most of the organizations that we've worked with have reached out to us because they know that they need increasingly diverse ways in order to raise profits and to create an influx of cash in order to give, if you will. Our first organization that we ever worked with was Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and that was in conjunction with Fernando Aguirre, who's the chairman, who was also in Cincinnati. And his son had juvenile diabetes, and he asked me to attend the event. And I said, you know, maybe if we partner to create a platform that we can sell bow ties and to raise more awareness, but to create more conversations, then we can raise more dollars. And so we, in fact, created 100 bow ties, and we sold those bow ties in conjunction with like 2 trips and for $40,000. And that's come all the way to working with the James Beard Foundation, where we created 25 special edition bow ties that all had the designs of different forks and knives in a very creative fashion that represented the James Beard Foundation. And one bow tie that night sold to Steven Starr for $15,000. So it's it's incredible how I like to talk about in photography, the Kelvin of the room changes, right? If anybody knows in photography, Kelvin, low numbers are cold and high numbers are quite warm. Sometimes you go into a room and it's like 200 Kelvin. You want to raise it to 48,000 Kelvin. Create that energy and that spirit within the room that is not really about you. It's really being selfless in the moment. It's really about creating a platform where people can now talk about their causes, talk about really what they believe in and why they're there. Organizations will engage us. Sometimes we'll reach out. And we've worked with, like I said, over 100 different organizations, nonprofits. We also starting to work with different high schools. Their own, a lot of times high school students will have their own nonprofit initiatives. We work with kids on the mitzvah projects. We work with different companies and corporations with corporate social responsibilities. You have restaurant groups, you have hotel chains. So really what we're doing is trying to create a movement of cause clothing in the uniform business because each company really wants to talk about the things that they're excited about and the causes that they believe in. We're going to give them a platform to do so.
Awesome.
That's a high microphone. You can bring it down. Uh-oh.
I'm not bright enough for this. I'll just stand on my tiptoes. So you challenged us to find our passion and what we're committed to, and I'm passionate about helping to raise money to fight cancer. So on May 9th, I'm shaving my head to raise money for our Hope Lodge here, and I was wondering if there was anything that your organization might be able to do to help me raise money for our local organization.
In terms of helping you, I mean, how
Want to donate?
Oh, we can definitely donate bow ties. We can definitely help in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the reason BowTie Cause exists today is because of people such as yourself that we love to help in any way, shape, or form. I think what you're doing is tremendous, and I think that all of us will support you in any way we possibly can. And bow ties are on their way.
I do take cash to go toward my $5,000. If anybody wants to donate, you can see me afterwards.
Excellent.
Very nice. Any other questions? Dhani, you talked a little bit about your schedule while you were playing and on the road doing these shows and your causes. Do you ever get tired? And what?
Yeah, I fell asleep in my clothes last night. No, I get tired? I get tired all the time, but I know that there's work to be done. And I think that's what keeps us all going. Mm. Sometimes we know that there is that moment where we kind of get a little bit sleepy-eyed, and then all of a sudden someone comes and kicks our chair and says, "There's work to be done." I don't think we'd all be sitting in these chairs. We wouldn't be sitting in these chairs right now if we didn't believe that, if we haven't had those moments. And yeah, when I was on the road, it was tiring. When I was on the road, and I'm telling you, 50 days straight on the road, 5 different countries, 5 different countries, 50 days, 5 different sports. I would have 1 day off before I went into full-length training camp. Now, training camp is 3 weeks, 2 weeks of 2-a-day practices, both morning as well as afternoon. So it's the same schedule that everybody here has when they're kind of in that coding process, or when you're in the war room trying to figure out and architect exactly what you're trying to accomplish. 2 weeks of that, 1 week of one-a-days, 4 different preseason games, and then 16 regular season games, and then 2 or 3 postseason games. Practice every single day, and then after that, 2 weeks off and back on the road for another 40 days. So did I get tired? Yeah, I got tired. But I knew that there was work to be done. And I knew that if I took a break while I was training or while I was overseas playing these different sports, then I wouldn't be able to play the game of football. And if I took a break while I was playing the game of football, then I wouldn't be able to travel. And if I wasn't able to travel, then I wouldn't be able to show people my bow ties. And if I wasn't able to show people my bow ties, then I wouldn't be able to talk about people's causes. So for me to have a sleepless night is all right, because other people may not have a platform in order to talk about their cause, or other people can utilize my platform to talk about their cause. But some people don't have that option. So that's my responsibility. So sleep, whatever. We don't need sleep. We're entrepreneurs, right?
That's right. Nice.
I actually, pardon, I remember watching you wrestle a guy in Senegal. And I
He was a
remember,
big guy.
Yeah, he was a bigger guy. But I remember the show, it was great. But now that you've actually launched a technical platform and you are a technical founder, or a non-technical founder of a technical company, can you talk about just some of the team building you did in order to get this launched and what the organization looks like now?
With BowTie Cause, I mean, it launched with just, you know, it launched really in 2000. It launched in early 2000, but then kind of made the transition when about 3 years ago, I met a young man named Chad Williamson who really, I met him at the Clinton School of Public Service. And when I was at the Clinton School of Public Service, he interviewed me, and here's a guy that I don't really get stumped on questions. You know, people just ask me questions, and I can always find my way in or out of it. And he really stumped me on questions, and he really asked me why I was rocking the bow tie. So I started telling the story, and then kind of realizing that I was rocking the bow ties for a cause, and that's really how everything started to turn, started to make that shift. It's having more conversations and understanding that really about helping other people. And you know, team building is about finding people that are just as passionate about what you're working on as they are passionate, you know. It's finding people that are passionate about what you're working on and being able to collaborate together and be selfless in those moments. So working with him and then growing the business and then starting to work with another young lady named Amanda and another guy, Matthew, and kind of as people aggregate towards those that they see are passionate about their work. And we've had a lot of distinct volunteers that have helped us in different areas, in different cities, and different corporations and different causes. But it's all kind of tied down to what is that singular belief, and that's believing that we need to be selfless and believing in the fact about the bow ties and how they make a difference. So when you think about how to build a team, as long as you're all sharing the same vision and as long as everybody's going the same direction, you're doing the right thing. Sometimes it takes a little bit more sometimes it takes a little time in order to delegate what each person is doing, because in any startup that's as lean as possible, you have to do a multitude of tasks. But once you figure out the algorithm of who's supposed to do what, then you can start to build that platform out that much more.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Allison Way. I represent Think Big Partners, a business accelerator here in Kansas City. And I'm actually a former athlete myself. And so I wanted to hear about something you learned as an athlete that you've translated into your entrepreneurial life.
Well, I think everything that I've done as an athlete is exactly the same thing as any entrepreneur has done in their life. The parallels are amazing. What I've learned as an athlete, practice. I mean, as an athlete, dedication, hard work, understanding failure, understanding how to handle success. I mean, all these life lessons that you learn as a professional athlete or as an amateur athlete are the same things that translate as an entrepreneur. I was thinking about the other day is that the exact trajectory that one is as an athlete to become a professional athlete is the same trajectory that an entrepreneur has as a student to become a founder and CEO. It's the exact same path. As a young kid, you have an idea, right? You're thinking, I want to be a professional athlete. That's your idea. As a young kid or as a young entrepreneur, I want to allow people to travel easier around the world. Fine. Now what do you have to do as an athlete? You have to go out and find other people that believe in you, find your team. As an entrepreneur, you have to go out and find your team. As an entrepreneur, you have to go find your first round of funding. As an athlete, you have to find your first team. Some people get funding. Yeah, some of you guys got that. As an entrepreneur, you have to work hard, you have to stay up, you have to practice tireless hours. Jamie talked about how she had to learn how to do different coding, how she had to learn what different aspects of the job that she'd be good at and how other people would be good at other ideas. So as an athlete, you have to be able to pick your position, right? So the parallels are very similar as an athlete and as an entrepreneur. And for me, I just looked at the same life lessons that I learned and same path and translate that into entrepreneurship, knowing that now I'm a freshman again, right? Now I got to find my team. I have to find my coaches so that they can help me build my platform. And in the same way that I was an athlete, it's the same type of thing. You have to find your team. You have to find your coaches. You have to find those that can eventually lead you to a good exit, right? It's the same thing in entrepreneurship as it is as an athlete.
I will take these 2 more questions.
Hi, my name's Aaron. I'm from Kansas City here, and I've had a handful of conversations with people over the last 2 weeks about diversity and entrepreneurship. And so, I mean, we're not a real diverse crowd racially. I mean, if you look out who's here right now, and you know, as we look at entrepreneurship in Kansas City, there's been a lot of conversations about how do you bring that energy to urban youth, and specifically around the idea that, you know, athletes and musicians, you know, have this sort of, you know, strong appeal. And within this room, I'd say, you know, the entrepreneurs have the same thing. So people who come to things like this feel the same way about all the people that are up on stage. But you don't necessarily see that in urban and minority communities sometimes. And I'm wondering if that's something that you think about, or if you do anything to address that, and if you have advice for this community as to how we would do that outreach, especially the people that are here that maybe aren't from that community.
I say the best way is to reach out. I say the best way is to find those that are interested in entrepreneurship, because some people, whether it's in the urban core, may not have been exposed to it. And I think as an athlete, as a black male athlete, my job is to talk to those young students that are interested and be able to share my story with them so that they can become more aware of it. There are some people that are working heavily within that area. There's obviously some people know Tristan Walker from Foursquare. You know, he started Code 40. You know, you have another guy, Lincoln Stevens, who started Marcus Graham Project. So there are those that are working to develop those platforms in order to have a little bit more an inclusive atmosphere within tech world and startup and entrepreneurship. But I think it's something that is starting to change now, and I think we all as entrepreneurs have an opportunity, and we have an opportunity and responsibility to do so. Because in the same way that there are majority men here, because obviously there was a long line for men, there was no line for women. You know, women here have the same responsibility to their peers in order to allow them to come as well. So I think it's a collective issue, but also a collective responsibility that we all have to enlighten others about what the community is all about and provide an opportunity, whether it's working with us or working with other people.
Dhani, thank you for being here today. This is a learning event, and maybe one thing we haven't learned from you is how to actually tie a bow tie.
Oh, okay. Who knows how to tie a bow tie? 3 women. What's up with that? That's hilarious. All right, so I'll tie the bow tie for you. It's not very difficult. Starts off with 2 pieces of, one piece of fabric that's draped on either side. And you just kind of cross it over, right? So just like you would do on a regular necktie, right, guys? In order to do a half Windsor, cross it over and you go through, right? And generally speaking, on a half Windsor, you go behind the back in order to kind of loop it and pass it through, right? So with a bow tie, now kind of split it, and then the bottom you fold up. That makes your initial bow. Bow's on the right side, other pieces on the left. And then in order to kind of split the difference, you drop the top piece over top. Now you have a bow, you have the single side, and you fold it over. And there's a little spot right there in the back. Guys, when you guys have a double Windsor knot, after you've already passed that piece of fabric over, you kind of tuck it through and you pull the necktie out. It's the same thing, but it's on the side. You pass it through, right there. And then you have a bow tie. I think that looks right. Does it look right?
Wow. Oh, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's how you tie a bow tie.
All right.
Admittedly, in the very beginning, sometimes you'll sweat. It's all right, because you'll eventually get there. And you know, I'll leave you with this. You know, sometimes if it's something if you're doing something for somebody else, or you're doing something for another cause, sometimes it's worth the time and energy and a little bit of extra sweat to learn how to do it, because you realize it's for the greater good. And so I challenge each and every one of you, men and women, to try to tie a bow tie and rock one, and rock a bow tie for a cause. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dhani. This guy does it all. Bow ties, Harlem Shakes. It's amazing.